Thank you for joining us today. This is going to expand on the previous video that's on our website around exercise and physical activity. We're going to focus today on endurance activities and the benefits of those. If you recall the other presentation, we talked about the 4 categories of exercise and how it's important to make sure that your physical activities are covering all of these different bases for that better overall health and well-being. Endurance is the activity that we're going to focus in on today. And it's a great place to start because the endurance activities are the ones that we think of when we typically think of exercise. These used to be known as aerobic activities or cardiovascular exercise. They get your breathing and your heart rate up. Because of that, it gives your whole body a wonderful conditioning. And so this helps with your overall fitness and your ability to maintain your independence. It helps with the prevention or delaying the onset of a number of different chronic conditions. We also know that it supports a healthy immune system, so you're also more likely to be able to fend off those acute illnesses that you may get from viruses or bacteria or even fungal infections. So some of the activities that fall into the endurance category, things like your walking or jogging or running, yard work where you're getting that breathing and heart rate up because you're constantly going back and forth and keeping that higher level of cardiovascular endurance going. Dancing, swimming, biking, hiking, climbing, playing tennis or pickleball, playing basketball, softball, baseball. Those things all fall into the endurance activities category. With this category, our goal is to receive 150 minutes a week at the moderate intensity level. We'd like to see it when you're doing these endurance activities every day. So when we're breaking it out and doing it consistently day by day, that endurance that we've built up isn't going to drop back down. So even if it's for just little bits at a time, you can certainly break this 22 minutes down in much smaller chunks. We know that the benefits of endurance activities start from the moment that you begin moving. So even if you can only do 2 minutes at a time, do 2 minutes at a time and just try to do it 11 times throughout the day. So as your endurance builds up, you'll be able to go a bit longer, provided your schedule allows for that. But don't ever worry about not being able to do it all at once, and so just saying, well, I can't do it at all. Break it into those smaller pieces so that you can get it done. To hit that moderate intensity zone that we were looking for with those guidelines of 150 minutes a week, we like to follow the talk test. And I like the talk test because it grows with you over time. As you become more conditioned, it's going to be easier for you to do some of these different endurance activities. And the talk test allows you to continue to monitor at what level you're operating at. So imagine for a moment that you have 3 different categories that you can fall into with your exercise. You have your light activity, your moderate intensity, and your vigorous intensity. With the talk test, if you can sing, you're at the light intensity level. You'll still be getting benefits from those exercises, but we just need to make sure we're doing more of them than that 150 minute a week target we were aiming for. In the moderate intensity zone, our target zone, with this, you can talk but not sing. So if you're taking a walk, if you're going for a light jog, if you're playing pickleball and tennis, if you can sing, then we're not in that moderate intensity zone. But if you can carry on a conversation and not sing, then you are in that target area. At the vigorous level, for there, you're not able to carry on a conversation, and you certainly can't sing. So you may be able to say a sentence or get a word out here or there, but your lungs and your cardiovascular system are going to be so engaged in it that you don't have that extra bandwidth in the respiratory capacity to be able to have a conversation. If you like exercising at that level, at the vigorous level, we know that you only have to do 75 minutes a week to maintain that benefit. So you get to do it in half the amount of time if you want to be more intense about it. There are a number of safety issues that you want to be aware of when you're doing endurance activities. First, always listen to your body. So the no pain, no gain went out in the 80s. If something hurts, then we want to stop. Make sure that you're warming up and cooling down whenever you're doing endurance activities. We want to make sure that those muscles are warm. Warm up does not mean that you're doing stretching exercise on cold muscles. So if you remember back to gym class when you were younger, usually we would do stretching exercises to warm up. And now we know that that's not good for your body. So for example, if you're taking a walk, you want to take the first block or so at your regular pace, your everyday pace. And then to get into that moderate intensity zone, you're going to increase your speed or use some resistance that will get you to that higher intensity level. And then as you're circling back around and you get about a block away from home, you can drop that intensity level back down, and that will count for your cool down exercises. If you do want to stop and stretch at any point, then that's certainly welcomed, but you do want to make sure that your muscles are warmed up before you do that. Hydration is also important. It doesn't matter what time of year you're exercising. We want to make sure that we're getting plenty of water before, during, and after. In general, they don't recommend rehydrating with sports drinks unless you're in high intensity heat and you've been doing very vigorous activity. But certainly check in with your doctor if you've ever been known to have an electrolyte deficiency, because they may want you then to rehydrate with those sports drinks. And safety equipment is very important, and this will vary depending on the type of endurance activities that you're doing. But certainly if you're going out biking or rollerblading, you want to make sure that you have a helmet on your head, potentially some elbow and knee pads if you're rollerblading. With walking, it can be helpful to make sure that you have walking sticks or good quality shoes. And always make sure that you're taking your phone with you and ID. So in case something ever happens, that phone and that ID will allow the medical professionals to be able to treat you with more knowledge than they would have if you didn't have those items with you. Also want to make sure that somebody always knows where you're going if you are going out to exercise on your own, and the time that you do expect to be home. And that way, if there's ever any concern, they'll have an idea of where you are and when you're supposed to be back. I hope you enjoyed our presentation today and got a little bit more information about endurance activities. If you have any questions, you can find our contact information out at our website at thevillageshealth.com/learning-center, as well as many other videos on numerous topics that you can enjoy.